Millions of people right now, seniors, disabled Americans, and families living on fixed income. There's a lot of noise online, headlines claiming more money, surprise increases, or big changes to Social Security, SSI, and SSDI. Some of it sounds exciting, some of it sounds scary, and most of it is confusing on purpose. Today I'm going to slow this down and give you clear answers, real answers. Not hype, not rumours, not panic. Just the truth about what's changing, what's not, and where this idea of more money for SSI and SSDI is actually coming from. Before we go any further, take 1 second and subscribe to this channel. I post updates like this because these programs are not simple, and missing one small detail can cost you real money. Subscribing helps you stay informed without stress. Now let's talk about why this moment matters so much. Right now, seniors and disabled Americans are under pressure like never before. Groceries cost more, rent is higher, utilities spike without warning, medications change prices overnight. And when you're living on Social Security, SSI or SSDI, even a small change, good or bad, can completely shift your monthly budget. That's why so many people are asking the same question. Am I supposed to be getting more money? Why did my neighbour's check go up but mine didn't? Why does Social Security say one thing but my bank deposit shows another? These are fair questions. And if you've been confused, you're not alone. Here's the truth. Most videos don't explain clearly. Social Security updates do not happen all at once. They don't hit everyone the same way, and they rarely show up in the clean, simple way headlines promise. Changes often come through calculations, adjustments, offsets, and timing shifts, not big announcements. That's why today's update is important, because there are real changes happening, but they're being misunderstood. Let's start with the phrase you've probably heard everywhere: more money. When people say SSI and SSDI are getting more money, they are usually talking about one of three things: a cost of living adjustment, a recalculation of benefits, or state-level supplements that many people don't even know exist. None of these are fake, but none of them work the way social media makes them sound. For SSI recipients especially, this is where confusion explodes. SSI is not the same as Social Security retirement. It's not SSDI. It's a needs-based program with strict income and resource limits. That means when there is an increase on paper, it can be reduced in real life by other factors like housing, food support, or medical deductions. So someone might hear SSI increased, but then look at their deposit and think, nothing changed, or worse, something went wrong. In many cases, nothing went wrong at all. The system just didn't explain itself. For SSDI recipients, the situation is different but still confusing. SSDI is based on your work history and earnings record. That means adjustments can happen quietly when records are updated, when Medicare premiums change, or when cost of living increases interact with deductions. One person might see a slightly higher check. Another might see the same amount as last month. And both results can be correct. This is why you should never compare your benefit amount directly to someone else's and assume something is wrong. Two people can be on the same program and receive different payments for valid reasons. Right now, Social Security is also processing a backlog of recalculations and administrative updates. That means some changes show up later than expected. Some show up as letters before they show up as deposits, and some show up with no warning at all. That alone creates panic. You open your bank app, the amount looks different, or it doesn't change when you expected it to, and suddenly your mind goes to the worst-case scenario. Let me say this clearly. Most changes happening right now are not benefit cuts. They are adjustments. And adjustments require understanding, not fear. Another reason this update matters is timing. We are in a period where cost of living adjustments, Medicare changes, and benefit recalculations all overlap. That rarely happens cleanly. It creates a window where checks fluctuate before stabilizing. This is exactly when misinformation spreads the fastest. You might see a post claiming a massive increase was approved, or that a secret bonus is being sent, or that Social Security quietly changed the rules overnight. Those claims generate clicks, but they don't help you manage your real money. What helps you is knowing how to read your benefit notice, how to understand gross versus net amounts, and how to tell the difference between a delay and a denial. That's what we're doing here. Now, there is one more reason this moment matters, and it's emotional. Many seniors feel ignored, like decisions are being made without them in mind, like they're always the last to know. If that's how you feel, I want you to hear this. You deserve clear information, you deserve stability, and you deserve to understand your own benefits without feeling overwhelmed. That's why this channel exists. As we continue, I'm going to explain exactly how more money is calculated, why it shows up differently for SSI and SSDI, and what you should realistically expect. Not just this month, but going forward. You'll also learn why some people think money is missing when it's actually being offset, and how state programs quietly play a role that most people never check. By the end of this update, you should feel calmer, more confident, and better prepared to protect your income. And as we go through this, I want you to think about your own situation, your check, your bills, your state, because this system is national, but its effects are personal. Now let's slow this down and talk clearly about what more money actually means, because this is where most of the confusion starts and where a lot of seniors feel frustrated or even misled. When people hear that Social Security, SSI or SSDI is paying more, they often imagine a big jump in their monthly check, an extra $100, $200, something obvious, something you can feel immediately. But that's not how these programs usually work. Most increases happen through adjustments, not bonuses, and adjustments don't look the same for everyone. Let's start with cost of living adjustments, often called COLA. This is the most common reason people hear about more money. A COLA is designed to help benefits keep up with inflation. When prices go up, benefits are adjusted upward so purchasing power doesn't fall as much. That sounds simple. But here's the part many people miss. A percentage increase does not feel the same as a flat dollar increase. If someone receives a higher base benefit, a percentage increase looks larger in dollars. If someone receives a lower benefit, the same percentage results in a much smaller increase. For example, if one person receives around $2,000 a month and there's a small percentage increase, that might mean an extra $50 or $60. But if another person receives closer to $900, that same adjustment might only add $20 or $25 before deductions. Both are correct, but they don't feel equal. Now let's talk specifically about SSI, because this is where expectations and reality often clash. SSI is a needs-based program. It is designed to provide a minimum level of income for people who are elderly, blind, or disabled and have limited income and resources. That means SSI does not work like Social Security Retirement or SSDI. When SSI increases on paper, that amount can be affected by other support you receive. Things like housing arrangements, food assistance, state supplements, and medical coverage can all change how much of that increase you actually see in your check. So, someone might hear that the SSI federal benefit rate went up, but their deposit looks the same as last month. That doesn't automatically mean something is wrong. In many cases, the increase is being offset. For example, if your state provides additional assistance, or if your living situation is counted as support, the federal increase may reduce another portion of the calculation. The total support stays within program limits. This is frustrating, especially because no one explains it clearly. Now let's move to SSDI, which works differently. SSDI is based on your work history and earnings. Because of that, increases and adjustments can show up quietly through recalculations, Medicare premium changes, or corrections to past records. One SSDI recipient might see a small increase because their Medicare premium didn't rise as much as expected. Another might see no change because the increase was absorbed by deductions. This is why two people on SSDI can compare checks and feel confused. The program is individualized. Another factor many people overlook is net versus gross amounts. Your benefit letter often shows a gross amount. That is the amount before deductions, but your bank deposit reflects the net amount after Medicare premiums or other withholdings. So you might technically be receiving more, but your deposit doesn't look higher because another deduction changed at the same time. This is one of the biggest reasons people think money is missing. It's not missing, it's being redirected. Now let's talk about state-level supplements, because this is one of the most misunderstood parts of the system. Some states add extra money on top of SSI, others don't. Some states manage those payments themselves, others let Social Security handle them. And here's the key point. These supplements are rarely advertised. Many people don't even know they exist. That means two SSI recipients in different states can receive different amounts, even if everything else is the same. If you've ever wondered why someone in another state receives more or less than you, this is often the reason. This also means that when federal amounts change, state supplements may adjust differently or not at all. That creates another layer of variation. Now let's address a question many people are asking quietly. Why did my check go up a little, but not as much as I expected? The answer is usually a combination of factors, not one single change. A small COLA increase, a Medicare premium adjustment, a state supplement that stayed flat, or a recalculation that corrected an old record. When all of those happen around the same time, the final number can feel disappointing, even though the system technically did what it was designed to do. That doesn't mean your feelings aren't valid. When prices rise faster than benefits, every dollar matters. This is why it's so important to focus on understanding your own benefit, not just reacting to headlines. Now let's talk about recalculations, because this is another reason some people see changes while others don't. Social Security regularly reviews earnings records, eligibility factors, and deductions. When they find discrepancies, they correct them. Sometimes that results in a small increase, sometimes it results in no visible change, and occasionally it results in a correction that looks confusing at first. These recalculations are happening more frequently right now due to system updates and backlogs. That means some people receive adjusted amounts without much explanation up front. If you receive a notice that doesn't match what you expected, it doesn't automatically mean something bad happened. It means your record was reviewed. This is also why letters and online accounts matter so much. They explain changes, even if the explanation is buried in technical language. Now let's be clear about something important. There is no universal bonus check being sent out quietly to everyone on SSI or SSDI. There is no guaranteed lump sum waiting behind the scenes, and anyone promising that without official confirmation is not being honest. What is real are adjustments, calculations, offsets, and state differences. Understanding that reality protects you from disappointment and scams. It also helps you ask the right questions when something changes. Instead of thinking, why didn't I get more money? The better question is, what factors affected my net amount? That shift alone can reduce stress. Now, let's talk about timing, because for most people, when the money arrives matters just as much as how much it is. This is where a lot of anxiety comes from. You check your bank account, the deposit isn't there yet, or it shows up on a different day than usual. And immediately the worry starts. I want to be very clear right away. A delayed deposit is not the same as a stopped benefit. Social Security payments follow strict schedules, but real life doesn't always line up perfectly with those schedules. Weekends, holidays, bank processing times, and administrative reviews can all affect when money actually shows up in your account. Let's start with SSI. SSI is usually paid at the beginning of the month, but if the first of the month falls on a weekend or a federal holiday, the payment is sent earlier. That means sometimes your SSI deposit arrives at the end of the previous month. This confuses a lot of people because it feels like you were paid twice in one month and then not at all the next. In reality, it's the same payment shifted for timing reasons. This matters when you're budgeting, because if you spend that early payment without planning, the following month can feel longer and tighter than expected. Now let's talk about SSDI. SSDI payments are scheduled based on your date of birth. Some people receive their payment early in the month, others receive it later. That schedule does not change often, but when holidays or processing issues happen, deposits can move by a day or two. That small shift can feel big when every dollar is already spoken for. Another thing that causes confusion is bank processing. Some banks release funds early, others hold them until the official deposit date. That means two people with the same payment date can see money at different times. This is not Social Security playing favorites. It's simply how banks handle incoming deposits. Now let's talk about delays, because this is where fear really sets in. There are a few common reasons a payment might be delayed without being stopped. One reason is identity or eligibility verification. Social Security periodically reviews records to ensure information is accurate. During that review, payments can be temporarily delayed. Another reason is a recent change, a change in address, a change in banking information, a change in Medicare enrollment. Any of these can trigger a brief hold while the system updates your record. There are also system-wide processing delays. These happen when Social Security is dealing with backlogs or system updates. When that happens, some payments process later than usual, even though everything is correct. In most cases, these delays resolve on their own. Now here's the key point. Knowing when to wait and when to act can save you stress. If your payment is 1 or 2 days late and there is no notice saying your benefits stopped, waiting is often the right move. Calling too early usually results in long hold times and no new information. If your payment is several days late, or if you receive a notice saying your benefits were changed or suspended, that's when it makes sense to follow up. Another major source of confusion is Medicare deductions. Medicare premiums are usually deducted directly from Social Security or SSDI payments. If your Medicare costs change, your net deposit changes, even if your gross benefit stays the same or increases. This can make it look like you were paid less, when in reality, the deduction increased. This is especially common at the start of a year or after plan changes, and because the deduction happens automatically, it often surprises people. Now let's talk briefly about the topic everyone asks about, stimulus-style payments or relief proposals. There are often discussions in Washington about helping seniors and disabled Americans. Some proposals focus on one-time payments. Others focus on tax credits or program expansions. Talking about proposals does not mean payments are approved. Until something is officially passed and announced by Social Security or the Treasury, it is not guaranteed. Anyone claiming checks are already on the way without official confirmation is not giving you reliable information. That doesn't mean help is impossible. It means expectations need to be realistic. Now let's talk about notices, because this is another area where people get overwhelmed. Social Security notices are written in complicated language. They're long, they're technical, and they often arrive after changes already happened. But those notices matter. They explain why your amount changed, whether it's a recalculation, a deduction, or a timing adjustment. Even if the explanation is buried, it's there. Your online account can also show updates before a letter arrives. That makes it a useful tool, especially when you're trying to understand a change. Here's something important to remember. Most problems people experience with payments are administrative, not permanent. That means they can be fixed, clarified, or resolved. Panicking doesn't speed that up. Understanding the process does. As we move toward the end of this update, the focus shifts from what's happening to what you can do. Because while you can't control every adjustment or delay, you can take steps to protect your income, avoid surprises, and feel more confident about your benefits. Now let's bring everything together and focus on what truly matters: your confidence, your stability, and your peace of mind. Here's the most important thing to remember. The system did not suddenly turn against you. Most of the changes people are seeing right now are not cuts. They are adjustments, offsets, timing shifts, or deductions that were always part of the program, but rarely explained clearly. When you hear more money for SSI or SSDI, think carefully. In most cases, it does not mean a bonus or a surprise check. It means a recalculation, a cost of living adjustment, or a change in how deductions are applied. Sometimes that shows up as a small increase, sometimes it balances out, and sometimes it only becomes clear after you look at the full picture. That's why reviewing your benefit notice matters. Even though the language is difficult, it tells you whether your amount changed and why. Checking your online account can also help you see updates sooner and avoid unnecessary worry. If your payment arrives a little early or a little late, remember that timing shifts are normal, especially around weekends, holidays, and system updates. A short delay is usually not a problem. A notice explaining a change is more important than the exact day a deposit shows up. It's also worth taking a moment to understand your state's role. Some states offer additional help for SSI recipients, others do not. Knowing what your state provides can explain differences in payments and help you avoid false comparisons. And just as important, protect yourself. Ignore anyone promising guaranteed bonuses, secret payments, or checks already approved without official confirmation. If it didn't come from Social Security or a trusted government source, treat it with caution. The goal here is not to chase headlines. The goal is to understand your benefits well enough that changes don't scare you. You deserve clarity, you deserve stability, and you deserve information that respects your situation. If you're comfortable, share your city and state in the comments and let others know what you're seeing with your payments. If you have questions or concerns, leave them there too. Your experience may help someone else feel less alone. Stay informed, stay cautious, and take care of yourself.